Here we have the ESYBOX Mini3. It's the smallest of the ESYBOX range, and typically for a domestic household setup, this is the king of pumps. Also, it tends to be the most expensive pump option, but it comes with a lot of nice features. One of the things it doesn't do is self-prime. So we need to open it up at the top. Then it's got a little fill port here, which you need to open. And take some water, carefully pour inside here. Give it about 1.5 liters in. Let's see if it's happy with it. One of the nice with this pump is that you've actually got a display here which covers a lot of information. You can set the pressure like you can on VSD pumps. This is a 7.5 VSD, 0.75, 7.85. There's two specs, the incoming power and the actual usage power. What's really nice about the ESYBOX range is they actually tell you the power consumption on the screen. Priming is a little bit tricky on tricks. Need to get water in there. And then we had a finicky time getting it to reset and take away its dry run protection. Dry run protection is a good thing because it prevents damage, but definitely one of the least easy ones we had to reset. Okay, where we're sitting at now, it looks like at about 3.5 bar. On the screen here, it says it's set to 3. It's actually running. It's incredibly credible. Looks like it's overshot. We're reading 3.4 bar there, and on here it says it's doing 3 bar. What's really nice is that you see the power consumption and the flow rate as you go. So let's start off on its default setting and see how it does. Let's start with opening a single shower. There's definitely a noticeable bit of a drop, and then it picks up, but it's incredibly quiet, and now it's keeping its free bar very, very accurately, and we are sitting at about 750 liters per hour, which is what we'd expect from a single shower. It's saying it's only drawing 360 watt, which is very, very impressive. Just want to compare that to our external power meter. Okay, external power meter is reading 360 watt, and it's also reading 360 watts. So its internal power reading seems to be very accurate. So, okay, let's see now if we open a second shower. Okay, there the response was very good. We had almost no dip in pressure. It dropped to about 2.8 bar from the 3 bar, and we're now sitting at 1,350 liters per hour. And on its measurements here, it's saying it's drawing 470 watt only for 2 showers, which is actually incredibly efficient, and it's still keeping close to its free bar. It's dropped a little bit under it. If we then open another shower, here we've started to drop a little bit more pressure. We're at 2.8 bar pressure from there, and we are at 1,800 liters per hour. And now we're running at 620 watts, so still very power efficient and a very quiet pump. It really is incredibly quiet. Let's just see if we open it up. Yeah, we easily go off the scale on the flow rate over the 2,500 liters an hour. Let's just see It's saying it's dropped to 1.1 bar, and it's drawing 900 watt, but we're off the scale flow rate wise. Let's just see if we try to get to 2,500 liters an hour. Then at 2,500 liters an hour, we're at 2.5 bar, which is still very, very respectable. Let's see how quickly it throttles down. We've closed everything. It's on pressure. Pump is still running. Very quiet though, still running. Still running very silently actually. It's saying it's drawing 80 watt, and it's just slowly bringing the pressure up, but it's actually overshot a little bit again on the pressure, but not too much. Still running, just very quiet. And there it's turned off. Okay, so it does keep running for a while after you switch it off, but very quietly and at a very, very low power draw. But to set it, you need to press mode to turn it on, hold mode and set in for 3 seconds. And now we can actually set the pressure. So let's set the target at 2 bar and just have a look at how it does with that. All right. It definitely has a delay to start a bit there. So now set at 2 bar, we're overshooting a bit. We're at about 2.3 bar. And with a single shower, we're sitting at about 550 liters per hour. Incredibly impressive how quiet this thing is though. It is very, very quiet, and we're only drawing 240 watts for running a single shower, which is incredibly impressive. We now open a second one. You can hear it picked up a little bit of speed. It's again overshooting the pressure a little bit. And we are just under 1,100 liters per hour. And power consumption wise, we're at 310 watt, which is incredibly low actually. If we open a third shower, you can hear it picked up a bit again. We're at about 1,650 liters per hour. Wow, and we're only drawing 420 watt, which is very impressive. If we then at this pressure get it to the 2,500 liters per hour, at 2,500 liters per hour, we're drawing 670 watt. So yeah, if you aim for lower pressure, you get to incredible efficiency with this pump. It does overshoot quite a bit on the pressure there, but it's always a good idea to have a pressure regulator after the pump, as the pump has a non-return, and any pressure control pump has a non-return, and so the pressure regulator needs to be able to release pressure for overpressures, and if you, for example, have a geyser that's getting a little bit hot. Okay. Now let's try a higher pressure. Let's see how it does if we set it to 4.5 bar. Okay, again overshot a bit. We are showing almost 5 bar on our pressure gauge there, and it's still running. Just want to give it a second to turn off. Actually saw in the menus you can set the turn off delay, so you can, it's set to 30 seconds, so you can actually set it lower if you want to save a bit of power. I think the reason that setting is there, that if you're turning water on, off, that the line is pressurized, because if it turns off completely, it's got a very small pressurized buffer tank inside, so it does dip a bit when you open the taps. So let's see now at 4.5 bar, if we open a single shower. Yeah, it takes a bit of time to respond. sitting at about 4.8 bar there, and we're running just over 800 liters an hour. And we're close to maximum power almost. We're at 690 watt with a single shower now. If we open a second shower, see it's not quite keeping the same pressure, but we are about at the target 4.5 bar at 1,550 liters per hour, and it's maxed out. It's flashing on the power consumption that it's drawing 880 watts, which I think is the maximum the unit can do. So if we open a third one, we'd expect the pressure to drop. Yeah. With a third shower, we're dropping down to 3.5 bar, so it can't quite keep the pressure with three showers running. Our tank ran out of water. Let's see if we do. So this is 2 showers at 4.5 bar. Okay, it's actually pulling 900 watt. But when it gets to 800 watt and over, what it does is it actually flashes a warning saying that it's going over its maximum. So 2 showers is already over its maximum at 4.5 bar. If we open a third one, we drop down to about 3.5 bar pressure. And again, we're still getting the warning flashing that we're drawing too much power. So let's just see, can it even run a single shower without going over power at 5 bar? Okay, there we've got 5 bar set. Opening a single shower, overshooting to about 5.5. Okay, so at 5 bar we're at the limit. We're at 800 watt. If it goes to 810 watts, it starts flashing warning lights at you. So realistically, whoa, if we close that up, we're overshooting, what's that, 5 to 5.7 bar, so overshooting the 5 bar quite significantly. So it can do the high pressures, but then you lose all the benefit of the variable speed drive. I think this pump is a little bit too small for that. So let's see, what's the highest pressure we can actually run it normally at. So let's see what happens if we set it to 4 bar. Definitely has a long delay between switching on. Okay. Single shower at 4 bar is 580 watt. So we're actually close to the maximum of a single shower. And we're at about 800 liters per hour. We're overshooting the 4 bar again a bit. If we do a second shower, we're maintaining the 4 bar pressure. We're at 1,500 liters an hour, and we're at 770 watt. So in theory, you could run it at 4 bar, but you lose a lot of the benefit of the variable speed pump here. And if we open a third shower, again, we can't maintain the pressure. We're at about 2,100 liters per hour, and we're getting a flashing light at 880 watts saying we're drawing too much power. So let's just, out of interest, see if we do a very low flow at the 4 bar pressure. Yeah, we're still drawing 470 watts. So it looks like to reach that 4 bar pressure, it needs a minimum of the 470 watt. If we then just set that back down to 3.5 bar and just do the same low flow example. Okay, there we're at 380 watt. So there we are getting some benefit. And if we then take that down to 3 bar, at 3 bar, sitting at 310 watts for just a slight small load. This is like washing hands or something. Okay, and at 2.5 bar, I can hear it starts to throttle down. 2.5 bars, 250 watt, and versus a full shower, 310 watts. So at 2.5 bar, it's very happy. There, we're starting to really see the benefit of a variable speed drive. Let's just see how low we can get it. Okay, and if we set it down to 2 bar, it drops to 190 watt for just a small flow. And it overshoots it by a bit. And if we do a single shower at 2 bar, well, we're only doing 240 watt. Okay, so in conclusion on this pump, it's a really nice package in terms of how quiet it is and at lower pressure power consumption. But it looks like 3.5 bars, sort of the upper edge of where you use it. It's really more happy at about 2.5 bar setting or so, which is a lowish pressure to have in the house, especially if you need to be running through a filter system as well. One of the big downsides with the unit is that if you open it, you get a dip in pressure, especially at the higher pressure settings, before spools up. So its internal pressure is quite small, and what that results in is that you actually deplete the pressure tank before the pump is fully spooled. So you get pressure, dip pressure, which is honestly not expected from a pump like this. Overall, the display has got a steep learning curve, but once you've gotten used to it, it's incredibly powerful. It probably is nicest in terms of the information. It gives you flow, it gives you power consumption, it gives you the total water through. It's honestly a very nice system. Does need manual priming. Overall, a very nice package, but you are paying for it. It is far the most expensive for the capacity pump, but you do get a lot for it. Disadvantages: the dip as you open the tap, and then that you can't really run it at higher pressures. It's not really. It doesn't really make sense to try anything higher than 3.5, which might be an issue if you've got a few filters to run through.